All right, well, let's go into our news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. And a lot of people will say, why do you use a broker like Eagle Mortgage as opposed to just going to your bank or something like that? Well, brokers like Eagle Mortgage on average save homeowners $9,000 over the life of a loan compared to regular banks. In fact, in 2021, the average borrower savings was $9,407 between upfront cost savings and interest savings. So it's still a great time to do a mortgage. Just make sure you go to the right mortgage broker, and that is Eagle Mortgage. You can find them in person, 114th and Davenport, or online at eaglemortgagecompany.com. All right, Trenton, the final designs came in for the Mutual of Omaha Tower. Last January, Mutual released a rendering of it. It was just a rough rendering because it wasn't a done deal. They hadn't 100% committed to it because they were waiting for the city to do its part with the streetcar. They did that a while back. So Mutual had its architect go ahead and complete the final designs, because you may recall when it was first announced as a possibility last winter, they didn't know the exact height. Remember, the CEO of Mutual Omaha said in relation to the First National Tower, it'll be close.
He was being kind.
Well, it's going to be 677 feet tall. That is 43 feet taller than the First National Bank Tower, which is currently the tallest building in Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, Wyoming, the Dakotas, several other places. That 677 feet will have 44 stories and 800,000 square feet of floor space.
So what people forget to take into account is elevation, because I remember when this First National Tower, doesn't it sit higher than the Woodman?
Now, the Woodman sits a little bit higher than the First National, and the First National will sit a little higher than the Mutual of Omaha. So when if you're driving on I-29 by Missouri Valley or Glenwood, Iowa, and you see the Omaha skyline in the distance, the Mutual Tower, I believe, will look just a smidge taller than the First National Tower, because
that explains the extra 3 feet.
If I understand correctly, it might be about, say a 20 or 30 foot difference, actually.
Okay.
Even though it doesn't seem like it when you're downtown.
Omaha's not flat, ladies and gentlemen. Rolling hills.
Well, and that hill comes up from the Missouri River.
For our international listeners.
All of them, yeah, all of the international listeners. Okay, so that's news there. And in fact, if you want to kind of get in and be a little nerdy about the height of the building and how it compares, we have an article in
I thought you were talking about yourself in high school, but go ahead.
It's a flashback. We have an article in this week's newsletter, and you can get the newsletter at growomaha.com. Just go to Market Report on the navigation bar. But in that article, we compare the building's height to all the other buildings in Nebraska, the region around here, and then a list of cities, other major cities. This is kind of fun if you want to geek out on that a little bit.
How old is First National Tower? Because it's 20?
It was either 2002 or 03. Okay, Roger Olson says 2003.
And Roger is always right. So it is a generational event. If someone wants to build a $600,000 or $600 million tower, let them do it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's good for a city. Having those skylines makes a psychological statement to both residents and visitors that we're serious about business.
And if you also go to our Facebook page, the Grow Omaha Facebook page, Jeff and I got a little bit touchy about one of our. You can listen to the conversation. Jeff doesn't want me to get into it, but people were asking about why does it matter that we talk about height and size.
Actually, I would say we've always had two red meat discussion topics on Grow Omaha. One would be everyone likes to know new restaurants and retailers, and we talk about that quite a bit. In fact, that's one of the biggest reasons why a lot of our listeners and readers are with us. The other one is tall buildings. People just love to talk about tall buildings, and they do generate a lot of discussion, a lot of excitement, and for some people, they even have angst over tall buildings. Like I can remember an architect telling me once that a lot of people are, quote, intimidated to walk by a tall building. And I remember thinking, he was walking down the sidewalk and we're like, oh my God, it's so scary. That building's so tall. But apparently some people, according to architects, are intimidated.
I wonder if there's a skyscraper phobia.
Yeah, and if so, what would the name of it be?
All right. We'll take those calls.
Well, the Omaha Planning Board approved tax increment financing for a $2.2 million redevelopment project on North 24th Street. Exact address is 3819. This is the 97-year-old Native Omaha Club building. It's not big. It's only 2 stories and a little over 7,200 square feet, but it's a cool-looking building. And it's going to have commercial space on the ground floor and apartments upstairs on the second. Just about 3 apartments. So again, not a big building, but kind of cool. And it's always good to see those renovations on the North 24th Street corridor. Trenton, you'll be happy to know that Omaha was ranked as the 15th best minor league sports market by Sports Business Journal, trade publication. So here's the deal. The article and the study associated with it considered 195 minor league markets. And these minor league markets together are home to 34 sports leagues, 320 professional teams, and together they attract 191 million fans per year. So Charleston, South Carolina was number 1, followed by Fort Wayne, Indiana, and Tulsa, Oklahoma. So Omaha being 15th. We have a couple pro sports teams.
We got room for improvement.
Yep, we've got room for improvement, and we probably have room for more. We have the AAA Omaha Storm Chasers, and we have Union Omaha, but we don't have the D-League NBA teams that some cities have, or there are some other pro sports minor league teams.
Well, I was excited, and you probably have for later in the show, but I was very excited to see that we're going after the U.S. Olympic trials for gymnastics.
Funny you should mention that. That was next on the docket. And that event for the previous Olympics was held in St. Louis. And it appears as if St. Louis is bidding for it again. We don't necessarily know what other cities might be bidding for it, but I can remember, thinking a couple times over the years when we've hosted the swim trials, Omaha always does such a great job with athletic events and special events. And I remember thinking even years ago, gosh, we should go after gymnastics because everybody loves gymnastics. And it's an indoor thing. It's not like you have to have like an Olympic track stadium or anything like that. But interesting to see how that one plays out.
It's kind of like skating or swimming where you don't have to watch it all the time or whatever. But when it comes to your city, we supported swimming so well. I think that Omaha would support gymnastics incredibly.
It doesn't really matter. I mean, shoot, we did the curling championships here, and people pack that. And I mean, I was thrilled we had that, but I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I don't find that interesting to watch at all.
And I went to it.
And you went to it. And I went to one. It was cool to have it. So I went for the event, but the sport itself, it is what it is, but it's the event. And that's why people turn out. They wouldn't let me in with my
broom. I was a little upset about that.
Oh, I thought, maybe you could bring something like that just because, how like football fans will wear their favorite player's jersey or sometimes people wear their ball glove to the baseball game. Why the hell couldn't you bring a broom?
I agree.
All right.
That's a regulation, apparently.
News of the week brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, EagleMortgageCompany.com. They know mortgages like nobody knows mortgages. You can find them in person, 114th and Davenport.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.